Alright, today's task is going to be to plant the rest of this stuff that's in the greenhouse. The little bits of lettuce, I think I'm just going to do a direct sow on the lettuce. That's leftover tatsoi. I only had 3 little puppies come up and they're not real happy about transplanting. We'll see how it goes. I've got to get the rest of the California poppies in. The Camelot Cream Foxglove. And 2 varieties of Rudbeckia. One is Rudbeckia hirta, Indian Summer. And the other is Rudbeckia triloba, Prairie Glow. And just as a trivia point, hirta means hairy. And if you could see on the leaves, they're fuzzy. Somebody's chewing on her ball making weird noise. This side of the greenhouse has my heat table that John made for me. It is a heating cable under sand in an insulated box. And we'll have to add some moisture and then the trays go on top of it. I prefer plug trays. That's just my preference. I've done and will do with tiny seeds that need a lot of care, the soil blocking. But as you see here, after watering it a while, it just kind of all melts together and I don't like that. And then I have to tease the roots apart. You can see here, it just became a mess. So my personal preference is for the plug trays, and I have the room in my greenhouse, and we're setting up another greenhouse, so I will have plenty of room for this. If you're limited on space and you want to get a lot done, soil blocking. Let me see if I have the tool here. Here's the tool. This is the large soil block for large seeds, and this is the small soil block that's filthy for small seeds. And there's 1, 2, 3, 20. You get 20 sections there. So, yeah, if you want to conserve space, that's the way to go. I also have to share my favorite little tool that John made for me. He's also a blacksmith, and it's my dibbler. This end also helps pop things off, like you put it, it's like the claw end of a hammer. You put stuff there and you pop stuff out. And then this just helps me dig down and lift my things. Love it. Great little tool.
This is a full sun area in what used to be pasture. The foreground area is where I'm going to be planting these cool season flowers today.
Stay out there. Don't you dare come in here. Go over there and find something to do. Couple of good tools. We took a pool out and the pool deck down, and as you can see, this is one of the railing pieces. It's got a slanted top, and I use that as a dibbler. It makes it easy for me so that I don't have to constantly bend. I just kind of make the hole for the plug. It's the right size for putting a plug in. Another tool, and this one was recommended by Lisa Mason Ziegler. She sells a Japanese version, which we also have, but it's in the back shed for the back field, and I don't feel like going to get it. This is the Fiskars version. It's flat. I don't know if you can see it. It's almost at a 90-degree angle to the ground, and that's because you just slide it along the ground, keeping it straight, and it severs the roots from the weeds and just lifts them right off. It's very sharp. Be very careful with this. Again, this is a Fiskars version that I got end of sale clearance. And another indispensable tool, at least for me, especially on windy days, is a scrunchie. Otherwise my hair is all in my face. So I'm going to put my hair up and get to work. The front of this bed has bupleurum in it, already planted, and I'm going to be planting more towards the back in succession planting. Then the next row, it has Orlea and Dara, which is the chocolate Queen Anne's lace, and then Queen Anne's lace. And then the next row is going to be the Rudbeckia row. And then beyond that is our vegetables. We have, what do we have there? We have cabbage, we have spinach, we have beet, and we have tek soy. So that's what's planted in those rows. You really can't tell right now. But yeah, that's what's there. As they get bigger, it'll be easier to tell. Dogs, please stop. They're going to knock this tripod over. So if the screen suddenly goes crazy, it's because the dogs were fighting over here again. But time to get to work. And you two need to find something to do.
If you notice in the video, I'm stepping over something. That's a piece of rope from our electric fence. However, that section is not electrified. We put that up around the flower beds to keep our livestock guardian dog out of the beds so that he doesn't run around and dig up and roll in the soil. This new garden bed area was tilled in September when we started planting out the seeds for our vegetables. And it's soft soil. We had rain a couple of days ago, so I'm not digging down into hard clay. But I'm working with the dibbler here, and you see how I'm leaning over? That's because I'm using what we had available. It was a short railing piece. You can create your own dibbler by buying a piece of 2x2 post, which is actually 1.5 by 1.5 with dimensional lumber, and make it whatever height you need it. And I'm probably going to do that later on, just so it's easier.
Right after I picked up my little plug pop tool to show you, I forgot to grab it and bring it with me, and I needed to get the plugs out of the trays. Well, I went and got my dibbler tool, I came back, and I forgot to turn the camera on. So I went right back to work. But I've got it on now. I finished the, I forgot what I just finished. I finished the California poppies, and I'm moving on to the digitalis, the Camelot foxglove.
I have bad knees, so I'm bending over from my hips instead of kneeling down. If you can kneel, just drag a kneel pad around or get one of those little wheelie carts. I do have one, but I tend to not use it because I keep forgetting about it. Some people may wonder why I'm not using landscape fabric here. It just worked out that way. We had some landscape fabric, and then this demon grass that we have, called Bermuda grass, would set seeds into the weave of the fabric. It would just get in there, and when we moved the fabric the year before to fresh land that had never been planted with anything, we ended up getting that grass. So it's just something that worked out that way. We will be using landscape fabric in the other beds.
I think you pretty much get the idea. And then drop it into the hole that I've made with the post dibbler. And depending on the hole and how it falls in, I just let it go. I don't try and backfill it because as it rains, it'll wash in more soil. I would not do that in the summer because the summer is very dry and it would dry out the roots. But in the winter, because we get so much wet, I think it's fine. So that's how I'm doing it now. And I think you get the idea, so I'm going to shut off the camera and wrap up some more and then show you when I'm all done. Those are the California poppies. You can see they're all here. And there's one of the holes. I skipped a hole. And if you see, I just placed it in the soil and just dropped the plug in the hole. And that one you can see it better. I need to fill that one a little bit more. And here's the foxglove I just planted. Again, I just dropped the plugs right in the holes. Let me go over here. Again, another path so I can cut through. This is the newest flower garden area. I forgot what I had in here. And then over here, we have put in cover crop, and this particular cover crop is winter wheat, and that's where the gardens were last year. As you can see, I still have to finish taking down some of the trellising and digging out the weeds and everything else. That's where my dahlias were, and they got overtaken by weeds. I need to put them in a permanent location with landscape fabric because it's impossible to weed around them. But anyway, yeah. That's all the garden area last year, and now it's getting fertilized with green cover cups. All the seedlings are planted. I'm tired, I'm dirty, I'm sweaty. I'm going inside to take a shower, have some lunch, and then I have to run to the grocery store. For documentation purposes, the rows are each 4 foot wide tiller width. The planting rows, where the plants are within the tilled ground, is 3 feet, and the spacing between the tilled rows is 3 feet so that we can get a mower through. So we're going to see if this spacing works this year. The plants are all spaced at 9 inches each. So it's off to have some lunch and take a break. Until next time.